Hi, it's Parker again. Yeah, I'm wearing my compression vest. It's kind of stupid looking. So I made this video before, just a few days after surgery, and I didn't post it. I didn't post it because I thought I was a little bit too riled up in the video, and it was a little bit crazy, so I decided not to. But I'm gonna make it again, because a lot of people that I love and care about are having surgery done with the doctor who did my surgery, and they're going to be at the same hospital that I was at. So I want to make this video to kind of warn people about some things. I had surgery with Dr. Turner in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and I stayed at the Victoria Hospital overnight. It's a requirement that you stay in the hospital, I guess because they want you to be looked after, and they keep your drains in only for one night. The experience in the hospital was extremely, there's no better word to describe it, but it was extremely traumatizing for me and for Jana, my girlfriend who stayed with me. Surgery itself went great, but the hospital staff was not the entire staff, but okay, where do I start? Okay, so I got wheeled out of surgery, and I had the IV in my hand, and I was all messed up, and I was put in a private room. I'm going to assume they did that on purpose. So I called Jana to come find me, and she did, and we had this nurse who kept calling me he, and then she, and then he, and then she, and I don't know, she just kept changing the pronouns, like, constantly. When she became confused with my gender, she became extremely hostile and angry. Basically, I was set up in the room with a button on the left, which gave me my morphine, and then a button on the right, which calls the nurse in. I was in a lot of pain, and I was very scared. I have a panic disorder, so I wasn't in the best shape of my life. I'd just gotten out of surgery. Basically, every time I would call this nurse in, she would get very angry with me because I wasn't on her priority list. She didn't feel that I needed help, or that I was entitled to it, which is bizarre because they put me in the hospital for the night for a reason. So every time I would call her in, she got very upset with me, which sucked. Also, a huge problem was I really had to use the washroom, and I can't really go in a bedpan, so I needed help to walk to the bathroom. And when I asked for her help, like to help lift me up, because you're not supposed to use your arms after you've just had chest surgery, she refused to help me up, and she made me pull myself up with my arms, which actually tore open something on my left side, and I have a very visible area that was bleeding and was torn open probably at that moment. She made me grab onto the side of the bed and pull myself out of bed, and she wouldn't help me to the bathroom. And your technique to get out of bed is supposed to be, sit the bed up all the way, move forward, use your legs to get out of bed, not pull yourself out of the bed with your arms, because I just had surgery on my chest. She was very, very rough when she was moving my IV, very, very rough. She also completely discouraged me from using the morphine, and I have fibromyalgia, and they were cutting into tender points and nerves that are so sensitive. She didn't not let me use my morphine, but she pretty much told me not to. Everybody else was telling me I should be using it every 5 minutes to combat the pain because it was so bad. But she just didn't want me to use it, which really confused me. I was having problems with my oxygen levels when I couldn't sleep, and when I would try to fall asleep, my oxygen. I was hooked up to a machine that showed my heart rate. My heart rate was high. Like, it was like 120, 130 the whole time because of stress and pain. I was in so much pain. My heart rate was just insane. I was hooked up to a machine that shows when your oxygen level drops below 80, it starts to beep. And every time I would fall asleep, it would drop like below 80. My respiratory system was so depressed. I wasn't breathing properly. I wasn't getting enough oxygen. She would not give me supplemental oxygen at all. So I could not sleep, and I laid there in pain because she didn't want me using the morphine. I got out of surgery at like 12:30, and I was up in the room by like 2. She didn't end up leaving until midnight, so that entire day, it was like the longest day of my life. Like, it wasn't even a full day. I felt like I was there for weeks. But around 10 o'clock, she bust into the room. I finally fell asleep. So did Jana. She bust into the room. She doesn't even say, hello, wake up. She just starts yelling, oh, visiting hours are over, visiting hours are over. You need to leave. She was telling Jana she needed to leave. I had told at least 6 other nurses. I told a bunch of different people that she was going to be staying with me that night. That Jana would be there with me through the night. And everything was fine. But when this particular nurse came in, she said that Jana had to leave. And I was like, no. I told this many people that Jana was staying with me and everything was fine. So what the hell's the problem? It's like, she's not leaving, and she said, oh, she has to leave, you don't need her here. Like, if you were having a heart attack, or if you were blah, 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 and all these different things, then you would need somebody, but you don't. And I'm like, are you joking? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, she's not leaving. In the end, Jana did not leave, and this nurse left, and I don't think I saw her after that. But she was extremely, extremely hostile and treated me like less of a human, and it was definitely because she was confused about my gender, and she obviously didn't agree with what I was doing. This was at the Victoria Hospital. I don't know the nurse's last name, but I'll tell you her description. This is for anybody who's going to be having surgery with Dr. Turner. She's a middle-aged Asian woman with very bad English and very bad attitude. So if you are having surgery and you are in this hospital and you see that this woman is supposed to be taking care of you, please suggest a new nurse, not her, because it's not going to be a good time. Also, the other nurses, like, none of them really had any idea what a trans person was. So just keep your eyes open and stay safe, and stay away from that particular nurse, and try to educate everybody else, because it's just ridiculous, the crap that I experienced in that hospital. I will never forget it. I have nightmares about it. Like, it was one of the scariest experiences of my life. I did end up going on supplemental oxygen after that nurse left, and another one came in her place. And then I did get a couple hours of sleep, but other than that, it was just, I was not sleeping, and I was not breathing, and I was in pain, and this other nurse that came, told me that I should be using the morphine every 5 minutes, and my heart rate did end up going down a little bit, but it was hell. Like, I don't ever want to experience anything like that again, and I don't want the people that I know to have to experience that. So please, remember that description, and if you have any issues, complain, because I'm going to see what I can do and try to file a complaint. It was just not a good time. So, alright, that's all I have to say. Just wanted to warn people. I wanted to share my experience.